Hey, you made it to April the 15th. You did it. Congratulations, unless you filed an extension. But isn't it a huge sigh of relief every single year when you get to April the 15th? You know, another year's done and it's gone and you paid those taxes. And that brings up a very interesting topic. What is the most important risk that I face regarding retirement? You know, I recently had David Blanchett on the show and we talked about the sequence of returns risk, one of the greatest risks there are regarding retirement. But you know what? It's not the greatest risk. There's also things like market volatility. We created a pretty neat chart that we're going to put on the screen here. The 10 worst years in the U.S. stock market history. In 2022, which is not that far behind us, the S&P 500 return was minus 19.4%. The great inflation. Bonds were worse than that. But you know what? Market volatility is not the greatest risk you face for retirement. There's also things like living too long. We all know the number one fear of every retiree is outliving your money. But even though that's such an important thing, it's not the number one risk that you will face regarding retirement. There's also things like medical expenses. Hey, I know personally, April the 15th, 2024 was my 25th anniversary from the day I had brain surgery all the way back in 1999. So medical expenses, yeah, you can blink and spend $100,000 in a day. But you know what? Medical expenses are not the most important risk that you face regarding retirement. What is the most important risk that you face? Well, I go back to my good friend, Ed Slott. I'll never forget, I think it was 2016. I was at one of our Ed Slott events and I walked up to him off the cuff and said, Ed, what is the single greatest risk that retirees face? And he said, the number one thing that will separate you from the retirement of your dreams is taxes. That's it. It's the number one thing that will separate you from the retirement of your dreams. I have a chart that I use with our clients all the time. It's a history of U.S. tax rates. We'll put it on the screen. And I'll tell you this, I always have everyone go to 1944 because that's the year my father was born. And if you look at the chart and look at 1944, the top federal income tax rate was 94%. Just a couple of years after that, it was in the 90s all the way through 1963. 1963 before it dropped into the 70s. You know, I was born in 1971. It was still 70%, the top bracket. I was graduating from high school before rates dropped down into the upper 20s. Now we're sitting here in 2024 at 37%, but we're $34 trillion in debt and growing by billions every single day. Do you think taxes are going to go down? Ed Slott always says, pay your taxes right now while taxes are on sale. In fact, yesterday, I met with an existing client. We were doing some changes to an annuity, and he said, hey, I think I'm going to harvest some of my gains and take some of the gains off the table. It's a great time. I'm about to trigger Social Security, and I'm about to start Medicare. And I said, remind me for a second, how old are you? And he said, oh, I'm 63. Well, we need to have a conversation right now about why from today through the rest of your life is really important. He had kind of a confused look on his face. He said, what does age 63 have to do with anything? It's important because of taxes. It's important because of something called IRMA. That's income-related monthly adjustment amounts. And here's the thing. Your premiums for Medicare, which are based on your MAGI from 2 years prior, can range anywhere from $174.70 a month all the way up to as high as $594 a month. And if you're single, the brackets move pretty quickly when you're an individual. Would you rather pay $174.70 a month for your premium? Or would you rather pay $594 a month for your premium? Remember, your total income affects what you're going to pay in premiums. And a premium is a tax. Anything that requires you to give up your money that you don't keep in your own pocket is a tax. The single greatest factor is taxes. How much money do you have saved in tax-deferred accounts? IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs versus Roth IRAs or other types of tax-free money. If you don't know about taxes when it comes to retirement planning, you need to know right now. It's a thing. It's a real thing. And guess what? It won't just affect you. It's going to affect your children, and your grandchildren. It's never going to stop. I call it the ever-bleeding ulcer. The single greatest thing that will separate you from the retirement of your dreams is taxes. There has never been a better time than right now to pay taxes while taxes are on sale. Talk to a retirement income certified professional who knows what they're doing. They can talk to you about whether or not a Roth conversion is right for you based on your age, your IRMA, your Social Security, your taxable income. All these factors are very, very important. Don't forget to tune in every single week and watch us right here on Safe Money Radio, where we will be talking about things just like this that are going to affect you for the rest of your retirement days.